So today we'll be talking about what you can do to enhance your profile when you apply to universities abroad, especially in the US. So what you need to understand is that a lot of Indian students apply and all of them are good students. Most of them are good students for sure. So definitely you have to do something extra to make sure that your applications stand out when the universities start assessing the profiles. Right. So I'm assuming that everybody is aware of the admissions criteria, standardized tests. By that I mean the SAT exams and the TOEFL or IELTS, depending on which exam you want to take. Academic record, that means your class 9th, 10th, 11th, and beyond exams. Extracurricular activities. When you finally start applying, you would also need letters of recommendation and essays. Few of the top universities nowadays, they also need interviews. Now in this entire list, if you see, so this is the list of the admissions criteria. SAT obviously you'll be preparing for, so that goes without saying that you will try to do, you will try to kind of get as high a score as possible. SAT is the only standardized component in this entire list. So what that means is that 1500 is directly comparable to a 1500. So if somebody says that I have a 1500 and somebody says that I have a 1450, so I can directly say that 1500 is higher than 1450. I don't need to ask any more questions. On the other hand, if somebody says that I have a 90% in my class 10th or 90 or 80% in my class 11th, so that information itself is not enough for me to assess how good or bad that score is. I have to ask more questions, such as which school are you from, which board are you from, etc., etc. Therefore, the only standardized component in your application is the SAT, and I'm assuming that all of you will do your best to get as high a score as possible. So universities give a lot of weightage to academics, extracurricular activities, and the other components of the application, obviously. The letters of recommendation, essays, so these you will get into them only once you start applying, obviously. So I'm not going to talk about them right now. Again, here also you will obviously do as best a job as you can, as you want to. So these are also kind of under control. Now, academics and extracurricular, these are the points when we talk about profile enhancement or what extra you need to do. So these are basically the domains. These are the two areas or two components where you can improve your profile. The first thing is now academics, right? How can you enhance your academics? You may be the topper of your university in your school. You may get a very high percentage, but as I said in my earlier slide, that information is not enough. It is not standardized. It cannot be directly comparable. Moreover, from India, it's not possible that the universities know each and every school. So unless you are from those handful schools that US universities know about, like Doon School or a Wilhelm or a DPS RK Puram, unless you are from one of these very few schools that US universities are aware of, there are always things that you have to do or you can do if you want to take a shot at the top 20, 30 universities in the US. Moreover, your competition is not only with the Indian students, right? You will be competing with students who are in the US. You will be competing with students who are in other countries such as UK, Australia, Canada, etc. Everybody applies to US universities. And the top universities, if you look at the data, the acceptance rates are around 6-7%. The top 10 universities, some of them have acceptance rates lower than 5%. So you need to make your profile stand out. You need to improve in whichever area it is possible to improve. Now in academics, what can you do? Obviously you have your curriculum. You will give exams. You will get marks. You can probably even get very high marks. But that itself is not enough. There are some things that you can do or you should do especially if you're targeting the top 10, 15 colleges in the US. I'm assuming that all of you have heard about AP courses. AP stands for Advanced Placement. For detailed information on advanced placement, you can go to the College Board website. College Board also conducts this AP exams in India. So, so all the necessary information about detailed information about the AP exams can be found in the College Board website. Now, AP courses are essentially US college level courses, right? So, if you have a couple of AP courses, if you have completed a couple of AP courses, then it indicates to the US university that you are already capable of handling college level courses. You also need to know that in the US, the bright college, high school students from their senior year or junior year, which is equivalent to class 11th and 12th in India, they start taking college level courses. That is one way to show that you are academically, you are one level higher than the rest of your classmates. While your classmates are still dealing, still handling the class 9th and 11th, course content, you are already ready, or you are already capable of handling college level courses. So AP, especially the AP courses in physics, chemistry, statistics, there are different types of AP courses depending on what stream you come from, whether it is humanities or science or commerce. You can pick a couple of them and take them. One thing you need to know though is that the AP courses in India are offered only once a year, right? So it's not that you can take them as many times as you want to. So you have to plan accordingly. So after you are done with your class 10th, then you can take a couple of APs. After you are done with class 11, then you can take a couple of APs. If you're already in your class 12 right now, then you don't have the time to take APs. Your application deadlines are just around the corner. In fact, some of them are already over. So for you, taking the AP is not an option. But those of you who are in class 10 to 11, you can then plan accordingly. Now if you want to enhance your academic profile, it is highly recommended that you take a couple of APs. Next is that take interest related courses and projects. What this means is that let's say you want to do computer science. A lot of students from India want to do computer science, which is fine. I have also met students who want to do, let's say, physics or applied math or financial engineering. All of that is fine. Now, when you are writing your university essays, when you're writing in your applications, you can say that, okay, well, I want to do my bachelor's degree in computer science. You can say it, perfectly fine. But if you are able to showcase that you have done enough background work, to establish your inclination for computer science or your aptitude for computer science, that will enhance your profile. Now, how can you do that? There are online learning platforms such as Coursera.com, edX.com, Udemy.com. So these are online learning platforms where top universities in the world, they offer courses. Like you find Harvard, Stanford, Yale, MIT, all of them offering courses on the edX platform or on the Coursera platform. So if you have done some algorithm or programming related courses from some of the top universities in any of these platforms, so you can use this to show that, well, see, I am yes, it may be an online course, but it's offered by a top university in the world, and the curriculum is of that caliber. So I have taken that course, I have got this certificate. So that kind of adds to your academics. Another advantage, as I said, is of having these additional certificates is that you can further you can let's say convincingly establish your interest in certain in a course that you are saying that you want to do. You may say that I want to do a bachelor's degree in let's say biotechnology, but at your school level, you probably don't have enough background. You probably have just studied probably a little bit of chemistry and a little bit of biology. So that's not enough to show your aptitude for biotechnology. On the other hand, if you have done a couple of courses on these platforms on biotech, so your application is at a higher level than the rest of the applicants who are saying biotech, right? And it can be for anything. It can be finance, it can be marketing. You may want to do a bachelor's degree in business. For anything and everything, to set yourself apart from the rest of the applicants who are saying that they want to do this, they want to do that, you are a little bit ahead of them if you have done courses, or if you have done certificate courses, particularly certificate courses from offered by top universities on these platforms, right? So Priyanka, I'm assuming that we can take questions and answers as we go along, right?
We can actually, the questions will come in, so I will collate everything and we can go ahead with questions at the end.
Right. So guys, so if you have any questions related to the academics part, like what kind of courses or any kind of any questions related to how you can enhance your academic profile, and feel free to type in your questions, and Priyanka will of course keep a record of that, right? Now next part, where you can next segment where you can enhance your profile is the extracurricular activities. Now, one good news is that one good news for you guys, that is that most Indian applicants, their extracurricular activities profile is quite weak. So they either do not have a history, or they have not done enough to showcase the extracurricular activities. So this is one weak point, for Indian applicants, as compared to other countries. So if your extracurricular activities segment is strong, so you definitely you are ahead of the competition in terms of Indian students, and that itself is saying a lot, because Indian students, they get good marks, they get high SAT scores, so that is not that much of a challenge for them, right? So if you can score high on these extracurricular activities profile, then you stand a significantly high chance of beating the competition from the rest of the Indian applicants. And one thing you need to understand is that getting admission in a top university means only one thing. It means beating your competition. That's all what it is, right? You have to beat the competition to get the admission. That's it. So what kind of extracurricular activities have pretty high significance? One is leadership roles in school. Leadership roles can be, if you are a head boy, head girl, if you have been chosen as a captain of some activity, maybe a sports activity, or maybe the editor or editorial team of your school magazine, school newsletter, whatever it is. So leadership roles in school are given a lot of weightage, especially if you're applying to some Ivy League colleges. Then being a head boy, head girl is a distinct advantage, right? So leadership roles in school is extremely important. However, in my experience, what I have seen is that parents tend to not allow students to take these roles. They feel that if you are chosen as the head boy or head girl, it will disrupt your academics, or it will negatively impact your grades. So which is actually not the case, right? So having a leadership profile leadership role in your school will add a lot of value to your profile. So keep this in mind. So if you are offer the head boyship or head girlship of your school, please don't turn it down. Next is diversity, right? So diversity means doing unique things. I see a lot of students who let's say learn foreign languages. So and you need to have the ability to learn foreign language. Not anybody or not everybody can learn a foreign language. So if you do have that inherent skill in you, then instead of learning the French, German, Spanish, they are pretty common foreign languages, which a lot of American students anyway know, right? So if you have the ability to learn a foreign language, then learn something that will add diversity to your profile. Something like Mandarin, that is like Chinese, Japanese, Arabic, right? So learning these languages would add the diversity to your profile. So if you let's say have an inclination for music, if you're good at musical instruments, then instead of learning the guitar, which like almost everybody learns, right? So instead of that, pick up a musical instrument that will add diversity to your profile. So now this is very what I can say is that this is very student specific, this is very subjective. So what I'm trying to say is that if you have the talent, or if you have the inclination to do any activity, it can be music, it can be learning a foreign language, it can be picking up hobbies. Just try to do something unique. Try to pick something unique, right? So that adds diversity to your profile. Moreover, all extracurricular activities actually can be put in different buckets. So participating in Olympiads, participating in NTSC exams, debate competitions, MUNs, all of them kind of are clubbed together in the academic bucket, right? Traditionally, students who are good in studies or academically good students go for these activities. So that is the academic bucket. Then you have your sports bucket, right? All types of sports come under the sports bucket. Then you have got the performing arts bucket. So which can be singing, dancing, music, theater, playing musical instruments. All of them come under the performing arts bucket. Then you have got the creative arts bucket, which is like if your hobby is writing poetry, writing stories, or painting, sketching, sculpting. All of these come under the creative, non-performing arts, which we call the creative arts bucket. Then there's the community service, which is like social work kind of stuff. So these are different types of buckets. Then there is this like miscellaneous hobbies kind of bucket, where it can be you may have a hobby such as coin collection or stamp collection or cooking, photography, or all of these come in a miscellaneous hobbies bucket. Now, to add diversity to your profile, so let's say you are a good student, you have got high SAT marks, you have got excellent grades, all of that, and you have lots of activities from the academic bucket of extracurricular activities. It is good, but it is not that diverse. Now, to add diversity to your profile, if you have a couple of activities from some of the other buckets, that makes your profile more holistic and well-rounded. So that is what I mean by diversity. So try to add diversity to your profile. You should come across to the admissions committee as somebody who is a like multifaceted personality, who's like talented in different dimensions, right? So you have like you have 3 or 4 very strong aspects. So if you can come across as such a candidate, it adds, it improves your chances of getting admission. Another thing which I often come across is that students go by quantity. They do tons of stuff. They do like 7, 8, or sometimes up to 15 activities. So they go by the quantity. And they feel that, okay, the more things that I do, the better it is. But that is a myth. It's not the case. Quality is far more important than quantity. So whatever you do, if you have depth in it, if you have done it, in depth, if you have a history of doing it, so that is far more important than doing, multiple activities. So there may be something that you have done, right from a school, right from your, let's say, the time when you're in class 5, class 6. Maybe you have been playing chess, from since your class 6, or maybe you have been painting since your class 7. So so you just having 2 or 3 such activities carries far more weightage than starting like 10 activities now, right? So if you have just 2 or 3 activities that that you have been doing for quite some time, it shows your depth, your perseverance, your patience, all of it, right? So the lot of qualities, they demonstrate a lot of qualities. So if you have to choose between quantity versus quality, it's like a no-brainer. It's better to have a few activities that you have been doing for quite a few years than doing tons of stuff that you have just recently started. Next, now this is an interesting concept of show versus say. For example, I can say that I am a very good painter, that I write very good stories. Now, all of that is saying. You can say stuff in your applications, in your online application forms, or in your essays. You can say stuff, right? But that's not corroborated by evidence. And unfortunately, Indian applicants are not well known for being honest in the applications, right? There are lots of instances where Indian applicants had lied in the applications. So if you want to set yourself apart, so it helps if you can show instead of say. So if you're saying in your activities, if you're listing writing as a hobby, then have put the URL to your blog where you have like your stories or poems, or where you have like written stuff. If you're saying that your hobby is painting or sketching, again, have a blog, take pictures of your work, put them up, give the URL of it. So that's what I mean by show versus say. So let's say that you are saying that your hobby is singing, or that you can play 2-3 musical instruments. Instead of just saying make a YouTube channel. Just record yourself, playing musical instruments or dancing or singing, whatever, the performing arts bucket, literally, right? Put that up, give that URL, give that URL of a YouTube channel as a part of the online application. Similarly, all activities that you have done, there is a way to show them, right? Just figure it out. And there may be things, you will probably start your YouTube channel now, but that is perfectly fine. If you have some old recordings, recordings of yourself playing some musical instrument, maybe when you were in class 4 or 5, and put them up also. In case you do not have recordings, if you just have photographs, then you can make a video montage also, right? So find a way to show your activities rather than just saying in your applications. It makes a huge difference, right? So these are the things in the extracurricular bucket. If you do, it will carry a, it will have a huge impact on your application. It will help you, more importantly, it will help you, set yourself apart from the rest of the Indian applicants, and thereby, improving your chances of beating them, right? So anybody has any questions? So I'm done. So these are the two areas that you should be focusing on. Rest, I'm assuming that you will obviously be doing SAT. Of course, you will be studying and trying to get as high a score as possible. Academics, again, in addition to these two things, you are supposed to get good grades. So those you will anyway doing. But how to make your profile stronger and better than other Indian applicants? So these are the things that you should be doing. Work on your academic profile and your extracurricular activities. And so, Priyanka, over to you. I am more than happy to take questions.